what is research design, right? We saw the meaning and then we saw the types of what research designs can be done, like data collection, how analysis can be done, etc. And then we spoke about why is it required, what are the essentials of a research design, what are the features of a research design, and then we saw what is validity, generalization, or what will be, how should it be applied, and then how actually a research design, what are the different types of research design, where we spoke about descriptive, if I remember, right? And experimental. Should we do descriptive and experimental again? Yes, no. You will be describing a theory when you're doing descriptive research.
Yes.
So you are going to describe what has happened. Is the theory applicable? How are the statements designed, etc. It's purely descriptive. Whereas when it is experimental, you're going to observe what is going to be the impact, cause and effect relationship. What has caused this phenomenon and what is the impact of it? Like for example, in summer, trees dry up. What has caused out? Lack of water, right? Leaves have withered and it has dried up. But then, so when the trees dry out, what will happen? All the leaves will wither and the tree will die soon, right? Or any kind of social, like for example, yesterday I gave you the example of how stress impacts a man's physical and mental health, right? He's stressed out, lack of sleep, and therefore it is going to cause an effect on his physical as well as mental health. He gets angry fast, is all the time upset, etc. And when it comes to physical health, he's sick all the time. He catches cold quickly, faster than the others, etc. Right? Now, when you talk about experimental, you don't assume while evaluating the relationship between two variables. Assumption नहीं रहता है, practically you're observing. Now, correlational is going to be, correlation coefficient is going to be between +1 and -1. What is actually correlation? Are two variables related? If I say stress, or if I say like stress has caused physical and mental health to get spoiled, are physical health and mental health related? If so, what is the relationship? Because of the mental health, is physical health related? Are they both related? कोई अपसेट है तो उसका फिजिकल हेल्थ क्या होता है, कोई खुश है तो उसका फिजिकल हेल्थ क्या होता है, राइट? इट रेंजेस बिटवीन +1 and -1. It's a theory based where you are explaining something, right? And it's an exploratory research. I will give you another example. You think of one example yourself. Okay? I will say supply creates its own demand, right? Why would supply create? Supply is going to create temptation in the minds of people. They're advertising and hence people start buying. So can you think of one example of that kind? Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, inflation.
Yeah, describe. Describe. I agree. Inflation. What will happen if there is inflation?
Ma'am, rising price of goods and services due to inflation.
Right. Rise in the price of goods and services is called as inflation. So you are going to describe the process. How does it happen? Right? So is it because of the demand? You remember last time we studied demand pull inflation, cost push inflation, etc. When demand for a particular product goes up, producer will try to push the prices up, right? Cost push, when cost of production goes up, right? So like land rent goes up, labor wages goes up, right? To pay, in order to pay the wages, in order to pay the rent, the prices go up, right? Of these, and hence this will be charged on the consumers. Are you following? Now,
Yes,
experimental
ma'am.
research. Again, I'm going to talk about So any kind of social sciences. Can somebody think of this? An example I want from your end. Diagnostic research, as I told you, it happens majorly in medical field, right? They diagnose. It has, first of all, inception of the issue. What is actually the issue? Diagnose the issue and then find solution. Like for example, I have a stomach ache, right? So I'm asked to go in for a sonography. Then they are going to find out what exactly is the issue and then give me a solution for it, right? Explanatory research or explanatory research design talks about unexplored aspects are being explained. Like for example, how, what, how. And I said stress is causing an adverse health on the physical, adverse effect on the physical health of a human. What is actually the effect, right? And is there anything unexplored? The person has actually got addicted to alcohol, right? And how? Because of the stress, he was not able to withstand, so his nerves needed relaxation. So he resorted to an artificial means. So, any doubt so far? The research side. Why is it essential? What are the features? Where all you will apply research design? And then, what are the kinds of research designs that you have? This is what we actually saw in the topic. Important hypothesis testing is our next chapter. I'll just give you a small briefing about it. Hypothesis is a tentative statement. When you start off with a research, right, you will have certain amount of beliefs. Like for example, I'm going to say, like I told you, I remember I gave you the example of performance of students enrolled in third year. So you go on with an assumption. आपके मन में एक बैठ गया है कि performance, academic performance and say extracurricular performance are going to be similar, are not going to be any different of a studious student. ठीक है, जो बच्चा अच्छा पढ़ता है उसका बाकी टाइम भी going to be say बाकी performance भी अच्छा रहेगा, right? समझ में आ रहा है? So you go on with that in mind and then conduct the research. So hypothesis is a tentative statement that you make which gives you a focus into the research and helps you in better understanding of the research, better conducting of the research. Okay. Supposing I have two options to commute to work, by train and by work. And I have to reach at 7:30. I leave at 7 o'clock. So I will say whether I take the train or bus. So if I leave at 7 o'clock, I can reach workplace at 7:30. Right? So I want to actually research going by train is faster or going by bus is faster. समझ में आ रहा है? मुझे लगता है कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है whether I travel by train or bus. But I want to actually find out ट्रेन से गए तो जल्दी पहुंचूंगी या बस से गई तो जल्दी पहुंचूंगी. समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, ma'am.
So I am going to have something in mind based on which I am going to conduct the research. That tentative statement is called as hypothesis. Are you following? Suppose mark sheets are distributed in the class and आपको mark sheet लेके घर पे जाना है. भले मैं कोई भी marks लूँ, my father is not going to get angry with me. That is a hypothesis. But you're going to go home and actually see if your father is angry or not with your marks. Are you following?
Yes, ma'am.